Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where we talk about mangas and sometimes books. As for today's video, I have the reading log for the month of March, and as you can see right here, I did manage to get some reading done. Specifically for manga. For books, I've been doing really good, but for manga, for some reason, it has taken me a while to get back into reading manga. I have no idea why, but in the month of March, I did read a couple of things, and if you have been watching my reading vlogs, you already know what I'm going to be talking about. So without any further ado, let's get started. So in the month of March, I decided to read all the Judy that I own. Well, Judy or GL, whatever you want to call it. I decided to read everything that I own, which is sadly not a lot, but I did manage to get through almost everything. I feel like there's one series and one volume that I didn't manage to read, but for now I'm here to talk about all the GL that I read in the month of March. And I'm starting off with A White Rose in Bloom by Asumiko Nakamura. This is the first volume, and this is the second one. And in this one we follow Ruby. This is Ruby and Steph. This is Steph, and they go to an all-girls school. And right now in these two volumes that I read, the relationship is slowly starting to develop because they start off as friends. And the way they start off is because they stayed in school during a Christmas break, and they had to like share. It was only the two of them that stayed within the school, and they ended up sharing like a meal and staying together. The thing is, Steph has a reputation of being like hard to approach. Like, she's really serious and no one really wants to get close to her, so she has that serious vibes going for her. But Ruby is someone who is really friendly and she wants to get to know Steph, and that's why when they stay together over during their winter break, she decides that this is her opportunity, and they sort of develop some sort of friendship. Also because Ruby is having like a hard time with one of her classes, and she decides to ask Steph for help, like tutoring her, and that's how everything starts, and that's how their friendship starts to develop a little bit more. And through all of this, we kind of see like the relationship Ruby has with her parents, because they are currently going through a divorce, and how there's Steph, who, although she is very serious, she doesn't want to admit that she's like developing feelings for Ruby. She is there when Ruby is like going to be moving schools, and she is helping Ruby pass her like exams so that she can stay in her school. And yeah, that's basically all I got from these two volumes that I own. I'm really having a good time with this story. It's really fun, it's really whimsical, and maybe we will see more of them in the following volumes, but for now I am really liking this story. Also, it's by Asumiko Nakamura, so again, she's one of my favorite mangakas, so I can never go wrong with any of her stories. And talking about Asumiko Nakamura, I have this one shot, which is Maiden Railways, and I actually thought this was a GL short story collection, but it's not. It is not. This is just a short story collections following different couples. So in this first story, which is all aboard for a romantic getaway, we follow this guy who is trying to catch his wife cheating on him with his brother, but it's a whole misunderstanding. And we also follow this girl who is a pickpocketer, is that even the word? She picks pockets, you know, she steals, and she gets entangled with this whole drama of this wife and a husband. And yeah, throughout this first story, we see how the relationship between the couple gets resolved, and this is the opening story for the following stories, because each story, it does involve the railway, which is in the title. But yeah, it's a very cute short story collection. I will say the last story really broke my heart. It was a really sad story. There was a happy ending, but still it was really sad to read. But I would definitely recommend this one if you want to get into Asumiko Nakamura. And yeah, it was a really good read. I also read She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat, the first volume. I could not read the second one. But in this story, we follow Nomoto and Kasuga. Nomoto really likes to cook, and she follows a lot of like social medias where they show you how to cook and like different dishes and all of that. And she has her own like Instagram where she also uploads everything she cooks. And we realized, and she lets us know, that although she really likes to cook, she doesn't have a big appetite, and so everything she cooks is always like really small. But her wish is to create this like really big meal, but because she doesn't eat a lot, she cannot do that. That is until she meets her neighbor Kasuga, who, this is how they meet, where she has a lot of like chicken with her, and she asks like, hey, are you having a party? And Kasuga's like, no, it's all for me. And so from then on, Nomoto cannot stop thinking about everything and how she likes to cook a lot of food. So one day she asks Kasuga to try her food, and that's where everything starts, because they develop a friendship where Nomoto cooks for Kasuga, and they get together and have dinner and just be happy with each other's company. I did really enjoy this manga. It's very wholesome, and like I said during my reading blog, I enjoy manga where they talk about food. I feel like it's just a heartwarming type of mangas when they do that, and they tend to be or become one of my favorites. So I really like this manga, this first volume, and I cannot wait to read the second one. And there is a bit of talk on like society and like how society portrays a woman that likes to cook. For example, there's a specific scene where Nomoto is at work, and one of her co-workers, a man, says that she has like homemade lunch, and the only thing he has to say is like, oh, like, I wish I had a girlfriend that could cook like this for me. And it's like, there's a bit of talk about that, on how like on how society will basically portray a woman that likes to cook, like she would make a good wife or a good girlfriend or whatever. And I do enjoy that aspect. And there's also a bit more talk about like relationships and all of that, and how people relate to one another. I really enjoyed this one, and I cannot wait to read the second volume again. And yeah, let's move on to this one. Everyone knows this one. This is called The Green Yuri, and there was a lot of hype when it was getting released, and honestly it deserves the hype, and I think it deserves a lot more, because I ended up liking this manga a lot. And sometimes I usually wait until like the second volume to decide on whether or not I really like it, but this is all it took. It took the first volume for me to completely like this entire story. And this is The Guy She Was Interested in Wasn't a Guy at All by Sumiko Arai. And let's look at the inside. Look how pretty the art is. I also like the green the color that it just makes the art pop up a lot more. And yeah, like honestly, there's this is such a cute manga. It's so funny, it's so wholesome. And in this first volume we see how these two girls, which names I already forgot, Aya and Mitsuki. So this is Aya and this is Mitsuki. So Aya is someone who loves to listen to music, and she relates a lot to music. Whenever she's like in a happy mood, in a sad mood, there's a specific type of music that she will listen to, and she likes to go to music stores where they sell CDs, albums, and all of that. And in that store, there's this guy who she feels like attracted to. She thinks this guy is really handsome, and like she wants to get close to him, but she doesn't really know how to approach this guy. The thing is, the following day we learn that that guy is not actually a guy, but it's Mitsuki, who sits next to Aya in school. And we also learned that although Aya is really into music, her friends are not really into it. Like, they don't really understand her. But then there is Mitsuki, who also really enjoys listening to music. She even plays the guitar. And yeah, and she realizes during school that she learns in school that Aya has a crush on this guy that works at the music store, but without actually knowing that it's Mitsuki who sits next to her. So now Mitsuki is in this like dilemma on whether or not she should tell Aya that she's a girl and she's actually her classmate. But slowly but surely, Aya is going to start realizing the similarities between Mitsuki and the guy that works at the store. And yeah, they develop a friendship, which is really cute, really wholesome, but there is still the romantic feelings that Aya felt for the guy. So it's really interesting, and I cannot wait to see where that goes and how the author is going to develop everything. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. If you thought that this was overhyped, trust me, it is not. It is absolutely amazing. Everyone should read it. Everyone should read this one. And we are off to the last two volumes that I read, which are BLs. So in the month of March, I read 2 BLs, and the first one is My Dearest Patrolman by Niyama. This is the first volume, and in this story we follow Shin and Seiji. And Shin is a cop, and there's a whole background story where Shin was a teen who would like be out and about really late at night, and Seiji would be like worried about him because he was younger, and like he didn't want a high school student to get in trouble. And that is to say, Seiji used to be a cop, and that's how they first meet. Shin develops a crush on Seiji, and he decides to become a cop because of that, so that he can follow Seiji's footsteps and get close to him once he graduates as a cop. The thing is, once he is finally graduated and he's a cop, Seiji is no longer working as a cop, because he is now taking care of a convenience store that was his parents at first. So he's taking over his family business. And there's a and yeah, so that's basically the background of how they meet. Now further in the future, Shin is now a cop, and he goes to Seiji's convenience store every single day, just so that he can see and be close to Seiji without actually confessing his feelings. And that all comes to a change when one night Shin decides to confess to him, and Seiji is like all flustered. He doesn't know what to do or how to answer to Shin. But Shin is like, don't want you to like confess your feelings if that's not how you feel. Like, I just wanted to let you know how I felt about you. Like, there's no need for you to reciprocate those feelings. But obviously this is ABO and that's not how things work, because Seiji actually confesses his feelings and they start a really cute relationship, and that's basically all that happens in this first volume. And yeah, I guess in the following ones we are going to see how their relationship develops a lot more, because they do end up as a couple in this first volume, and I honestly cannot wait to see how everything moves on from there. But yeah, this is the first volume, and let's move on to the last manga of this video. I also read Black or White. This is the first volume by Sachimo, and this is a story about two actors, which is Shin and Shige. By the way, he has the same name as the other one, Shin. So Shin and Shige, this is Shin and Shige. So Shin is a up and coming actor who always gets the roles of the villain in the dramas or movies, basically because he has a face that's very intimidating, but he's actually someone who's really sweet and he's just shy. And then we have Shige, who is an actor who always gets the main role lead because he's like really handsome and everyone just really likes him. But there's a secret between the two of them, and that is the fact that they have been dating since they were in college. But for now they are keeping their relationship a secret because they are both actors and in a same-sex relationship. So we are going to see how they sort of navigate their relationship in this first volume. And just look at how cute he is. Oh, he's so shy. The blush. But here's the thing. Although Shin gets the roles of being a villain, that's not who he really is. Like I said, he's someone who's really shy. And Shige gets the roles of like the heartthrob and like the handsome prince. But Shige is someone who is really overprotective and really like controlling. Like he wants to keep Shin all to himself, to the point where he's really worried that Shin is going to make it big in this industry, because he again doesn't want Shin to have like a lot of audience and a lot of like fame, because he wants to keep Shin to himself. That's what I got from this first volume. Again, I don't know how the story is going to develop, and I will have to wait and see, because I do plan to get the following volumes of this series. I think so far there's like 9 volumes out, so I need to do a bit of catching up. But yeah, with that, I have finished everything I read in the month of March. And yes, so if you have any GL recommendations, please leave them down below. Like I said, I only have like one series I need to read, and then like I'm done with all the GL that I owned. So if there is a GL recommendation or a GL you would like me to read, please leave the title of it down in the comments. I am definitely looking forward to all your recommendations. And have you read My Dearest Patrolman, Black or White, or any of the GL I talked about in today's video? Please leave your comment down below. And with that, don't forget to subscribe and give a like to this video, as it helps my channel. And yeah, I will see you all on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.